Becoming an Apex Predator is not an easy task. Beyond the sheer time commitment to achieve the highest rank in all of Apex, there are 5 things I've found that these players do that most of the Apex player base does not. So let's get into it. Number 1, they have a great understanding of the small stuff. Understanding the complexities and nuances of Apex is a huge deal. See, once players learn the basics of this game, they usually start to realize that this game does not have a linear process. In any battle royale, there's obviously RNG, and this applies most to the looting aspect of the game. However, with 22 legends in total, all having multiple abilities, this makes the game have a lot of different variables. I always appreciated how Apex is not pay to win. There's no attachment or weapon that one player has that the other player does not because of their playtime in the game. Of course, there is a huge skill gap in Apex, but relatively speaking, there's no unfair advantages one player gets because they spent more time or money on the game. Now, I think that's a huge reason why Apex is so good. If you take a look at, say, COD, a lot of the weapon metas were only available to players who had a high level and or had purchased one of the other CODs to get access to those meta weapons. Now, I talk about this often because the more you start to grasp how these variables affect outcomes, the better of a player you will become. Most will do this subconsciously, but some are going to have to be more mindful of it game in and game out, especially as they're progressing through whatever level they tend to get stuck in, whether that's gold, platinum, or diamond. It's all relative. Being constantly aware of the numerous possibilities and outcomes that come with rotations, taking fights, third parties, abilities, and their counters, ring closures, different maps, etc. are all something that is constantly on an Apex Predator's mind during each and every match. Learning the intricacies of all of these things is what separates the good from the great in Apex. And the quickest way to begin learning all of these intricacies is through getting more reps in, while simultaneously reflecting on what went wrong when you died and what went well when you got a few kills or a win. Number 2, excellent pacing. Pacing can be everything in such a fast-paced BR as Apex Legends. Predators tend to be hyper aware of when to strike and when they need to stall for time. Absolutely every second matters, and it's just these brief windows of having an edge that these players know how to abuse. They tend to carry a very aggressive playstyle, literally pouncing on enemy teams as soon as an opening presents itself, knowing when to stop healing in order to secure a knock or put out massive damage, even on the verge of getting knocked themselves, can mean the difference in a fight. Preds will surely capitalize on these opportunities due to their strong understanding of the time to kill and the time to heal in Apex. Even with such an aggressive playstyle, knowing how and when to stall a fight is also equally important. Understanding the numbers game of a 1v3 or a 1v2 and how to effectively execute it is key. By this I mean one player healing while the other player is holding for them. If you have one teammate knocked, a second teammate being able to get off the revive while the third successfully holds off the enemy squad becomes literally do or die. In other situations, being able to properly and effectively rotate fighting and healing with your team takes far more coordination than simply just being able to shoot your gun at someone. This refers to one person shooting while 2 people are popping heals, or 2 people shooting while 1 person is popping heals. And this kind of rotation in a fight can be necessary to help ensure that there's always someone laying down fire on the opposing team. If that team cannot manage this because they are all low and healing at once, a window of attack will open and a good player will jump on this instantly. If anyone is interested in some official MangosInTrees merch, well, I recently partnered with Merch for All and released some hoodies and t-shirts. They'll only be available for a limited time, but go ahead and check out the link in the description to see more. Thanks for any support. Number 3, Predators have the ability to play any legend. If you're getting stuck on being comfortable playing only 1 or 2 legends, well, this can be extremely hindering for someone wanting and expecting to grow as a player. The legend meta shifts often, nearly every season to some degree or another, so being able to be useful on nearly any legend is often a necessary trait in any high-level player. Preds are usually playing with different teammates, meaning they must also shift legends and roles. On some squads, they might need to be more of an entry fragger, which has a very aggressive playstyle and generally is responsible for securing kills. While on other teams, they may need to shift to a support legend, which can require a different playstyle and mindset. Adjusting to the meta in this way and being flexible in who they play and being able to do this well is a huge asset to any team they're on. It often takes them minimal practice to become proficient on a new legend, and part of that is because they're already well-rounded in other areas of Apex, but the other part is they just have a solid understanding of abilities and how they factor into any given moment. If you're watching this with the goal to improve at Apex, then I definitely recommend starting to play multiple legends if you have the time to. Number 4, they're proficient with every weapon in the game. A lot like how the top players are able to be versatile with a large variety of legends, they're also very flexible when it comes to the weapons they use and just looting in general. Limiting yourself to only being proficient with a small handful of guns will easily become a ball and chain, holding you down from any potential you might have. If you feel like you're only comfortable if you get a kitted R301 and a kitted Volt to accompany that, you're in for some bad times in Apex. The best players are going to be able to work with whatever they have to win a fight. Now, they're obviously not going to win every fight, but they'll at least do their best with what they have, and that's a big difference. Not only that, they're going to know specific loot paths on every POI, which will speed up the time it takes them to get situated off drop. If they land on a Mozambique and a Sentinel and have to get right into it, you know they're going to do that and find a way to make it work. Making the most of what you have is a skill in itself. You're not always going to have the time to be able to search around for or wait for your favorite preferred loadout. This isn't Warzone. The fastest and most effective way of looting that will ever exist is taking loot off the enemies you've killed. Beyond that, you're going to need to know where loot spawns and where it does not. Wasting time running through parts of a POI that your teammate or an enemy already looted is never a good idea. If you can become skilled with just about any weapon in the game, you'll always have a higher chance of finding better and more preferred weapons once you're looting through a team's leftovers that they looted for you. The 5th thing Apex Predators have is excellent teamwork and communication skills. You can watch virtually any good Predator team, and the one thing you will consistently hear is strong communication. And on the very best teams, you will also see excellent listening skills as well. This may seem like an obvious one, but it can't be stressed enough just how valuable good, solid communication can be. Being able to quickly and clearly call out where an enemy is, how low they may be, what you're doing, what your teammates should be doing, what your teammates may need for loot, and letting them know when you see it, talking through the next rotation plan and where to play. All of these things Apex Predators have mastered. If your squad has an in-game leader, being able to hear and quickly execute their calls will be the difference between a win or a loss in these sweaty lobbies. I say this all the time, and it still applies here at this high level. Apex Legends is a team game. There's a reason you play with a squad and not alone. Having top tier teamwork skills is a huge reason why those who are at the top stay there. Don't underestimate the ability to both talk and listen well in this game. Now, of course, people can do all of these things and still not be an Apex Predator. Some players don't even play ranked, while others play it exclusively. Being an Apex Predator has a lot to do with the massive time commitment involved, as well as the ability to maintain it. There's also a huge component that wasn't discussed, and that is the fact that you need 2 other players to do this. Having only one person on the team to do these things will not be enough to reach the highest rank. It takes a team to achieve this. Nearly every other team in these lobbies is using their coordination skills to play well as a whole, so if you're solo queuing out there, this is not something you just want to overlook. There's also plenty of other variables that exist, such as account boosting, unfair abuse of the RP system, and just flat out cheaters that ultimately skew the top 750 Predator leaderboard. However, the legitimate Apex Predators all have one of the most obvious things in common, and that's excellent aim. So if you're looking to improve yours, well, I covered everything you need to know in this video here. Check it out next. Thanks for watching. Peace.